world. We are inviting you to join us for the next 21 days, December 2nd through December 22nd. And we have one agenda. We want to lean into some biblical principles that are going to help us remove the yoke of spending, okay? And that's what today's message is about. What is a yoke? Like an egg yolk? No, it gets deep. So we're about to kick that off today, guys. And these calls are going to be every single day for the next 21 days, 9:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Are they really trying to host a financial fast during a holiday season? Absolutely. Because the best way to have radical change and to break the familiar and to free the consumer that's been bred inside of you is to make you drastically uncomfortable. Plus, the last time I checked, it was Jesus' birthday, not yours. So if you need some coaching, if you need to let go or even just learn some things, I want to invite you to Chairman 1000 right now. We're starting. The money team's on the line. We're excited to learn together, to grow together, and to seek deeper knowledge and wisdom, not what this world gives us. In fact, the first thing, the first scripture, yes, scripture, guys, is 1 Corinthians 3:19, and it says, the wisdom of this world is foolishness to God. So we're going to go ahead and get this started right now. Facebook family, chairman1000.com, 21-day financial fast. This is the book. If you want to grab this book, plus, can I just brag for a minute that we are supporting? Look at who we're cheering on. This powerful woman who is a top columnist for Washington Post. And if this is a season where you are leaning into being conscious with your purchases, then this should be the last purchase for the next 21 days. Michelle Singletary, 21-day financial fast. It kicks off right now. All right, guys, I'll see you on chairman1000.com. Be blessed. All right, what's up, money team? You guys, I'm excited. I'm really excited about this one. I'm excited because my first initial reaction was not excitement. Like, you want to do what? You want to read what book right now? Sir, it is December 2nd, sir. Sir, it is time. What are you doing? Right? But I remember we read a book this year that was titled Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, right? And the entire agenda was for us to learn, who are we for real? What's our familiar behavior? What's our familiar place? How do we really behave? What's our go-to thoughts? And if we don't like what we see, how can we change it? And so listen very closely to me. I get it, okay? Trust me, I get it. 21 days to really see what does these finances look like. This is something we avoid doing. We avoid the budgets. We avoid admitting how much is coming out of our account, right? On day 7, she's gonna have us do a budget, guys. You gotta include everything. Yes, even your $4.99 stars subscription, okay? Everything. You deserve to have clarity and truthfulness in this journey. And just know that this is going to be a no shame environment. I do not believe that your value is dependent on how much money you have or don't have. I don't believe that. I believe that it has a lot more to do with your network and with the teachings that you've been taught. And so for the next 21 days, guys, we're going to lean right into this book. And our goal, it's going to be different for everyone. I'll tell you what my goal is and what I hope for you. I hope that there are some aha moments where you go, oh, I might have a 4 for 4 problem. I might have a drive-through problem. Oh, I might have a grocery store run in, just grab it, it's food, it doesn't count as extra spending problem. I might have some problems. I might have places where when I put the light, I could change how I behave in that area. That's it, okay? And she's even going to have parts of this book where she talks about some things that even I haven't thought about in terms of how to prepare for when, as we get older, how to prepare so that we can take care of ourselves, so that other people can take care of us. And so let's get right into it, guys. If you haven't read the foreword, she really starts by asking and really educating us, what is a fast? You know, some of us, this is not our world. And I want you to know that even though this is backed by that biblical principle, if that doesn't represent you, I still think there is some clarity that can be received. And I want you to be really open-minded with some of the things that we're teaching. Maybe you're just uncomfortable because that's not your world and you don't know what that should look like. Guys, I feel so privileged that we get to have this space with you then for the next 21 days, perhaps showing you scripture for the first time, maybe praying for the first time about these things. And so that is something I'm excited about. And again, guys, I want you to stay open-minded, and I want you to really use this to look at all the dark corners of our personality, of our spending that maybe we're kind of ignoring because there's pain there. So let's get right into it. First, guys, what's a fast, right? If you don't come from the background of fasting, or you're not very religious, this might seem very weird. Like, why would you not eat for a set period of time, right? Or why would you not spend, in this case, for a set period of time? But in almost all religions, we see an opportunity to have self-denial, right? Christian religions, we do fast. Sometimes you'll hear people say the Daniel diet. It's 21 days of not eating. In Daniel, he went into the woods and basically stopped eating for 21 days in an effort to really just focus on praying and have some, closeness with God. And then we even know in the Muslim religion, there's seasons of fasting where they practice self-denial, and that is their attempt as well to get closer to their religion, to their holiness, to self-denial, and examining the parts of themselves that they can fix, they can render up, and they can ask God for clarity on. And so this isn't something that's just limited to one particular religion. And even monks in the Buddhist religion, they fast as well. And the theme of fasting is pretty simple. We want to deny the flesh, okay? That sounds funny. Why is she talking like that? Let me make it clear. Guys, we ourselves, we are so hooked on different things, right? I mean, here's a lesson. When I was a nurse, I remember nurses coming in at 6 a.m. on a shift with 64-ounce Dr. Peppers to last them through the day. And I never was a fan of Dr. Pepper, right? Never was a fan. But then it was kind of like a trend. And even when I went to other facilities, it was like a joke and a trend. Make sure you hit the corner store before you come to work. Got to get your 64-ounce. Ooh, it's on sale today if you bring your own cup, right? And I remember just thinking, this is kind of a silly trend. Like, who drinks soda for breakfast? And guess what, guys? It wasn't long before I was doing the same thing. This is an example of how our network and our circle can really influence how we behave. And it's normal. It's how you were created, okay? And so what we want to do is we want to take that same concept, but we want to use it for positive. So when I think about that example of, being a nurse and walking into a 6 a.m. shift with a soda that's half my body size and, just kind of falling into that pattern, I remember this is what we mean when we say falling into our familiar place, right? Guys, you have a familiar place when it comes to money. And you might say, well, I'm broke. I don't got no money. Oh, I've been broke. Can I tell y'all something? Sometimes broke people, we're the worst. We're the worst. Does this sound familiar? It's a garage sale. It's a garage sale. I'm only gonna spend $60. Let me go see what I can find. It's just a knickknack. It's a knickknack. I remember reading a financial book and being offended when he said poor people buy knickknacks. I said, hush your mouth. That's my grandma's owl collection you're talking about. But it was true. And the reason why is because we feel like we're always denying ourselves because we don't have what everyone has. So then we learn to reward ourselves in small ways. Target dollar section, anybody? Dollar store, anybody? And what's really happening is we are learning to steal from ourselves. And so, guys, this is not supposed to be punishment. This is supposed to be an amazing opportunity to lean in to whatever your holy place is and to ask for clarity. How do I feel about money? How am I spending my money? And what can I do better? And yes, I know it's the holiday season. And I know that this is the time of year where you let people know how much you love them with extraordinary gifts. And what we want to challenge you to do is to let people know how much you love them in different ways. In different ways. How can you give of your time? How can you do activities? How can you curb the spending this holiday season and not be 80% of people who are going to go into debt in the next 30 days? Isn't it crazy how we believe, those of us who celebrate Christmas, that this is an opportunity to celebrate the Son of God, and we do it by going into debt? Where have we been tricked? Where have you and I been tricked? Where has the enemy tainted our holy places? And that's what we want to talk about for the next 21 days. And I'm really excited because I know there's going to be shifts for me. For instance, she says no food outside the house. Michelle, who's going to cook? Michelle, I need somebody to tag Michelle. Ask her who going to feed these kids for the next 21 days, Michelle. You going to come up in this house? Because these kids are hungry. All right. And Panda Express does the job around here, Michelle. But I'm going to be coachable because I want freedom. All right. So a fast, guys, is an opportunity to have self-denial. It's an opportunity to seek God. It's an opportunity to have obedience. And I want y'all to know sometimes obedience don't taste that good. And lastly, and I believe one of the most important factors, regardless of what your religious affiliation is, I believe what it really is going to allow us to do, our fast is going to allow us to break the familiar. And that has been such a theme for us over the last several months. Yeah. Breaking what's familiar. We just do things and we don't even know why we do it. You know, I tell you guys often how my transitioning to Black coffee, and I know that seems so small, but when you come from where I come from, okay, there's something called cafecito that you have in the mornings. And as far as I know, this has been a tradition in my bloodline for hundreds of years. And basically it's 90% milk and sugar and a dash of coffee. That's coffee. And so when my husband a couple of years ago said, babe, I know you're on a weight loss journey. Have you thought about cutting out the sugar in the milk in the morning? I looked at him like, first of all, nobody asked you. Nobody asked you for any help, sir. Okay. Secondly, this is cultural. You wouldn't get it. Isn't it funny when we want to protect something, we run to its culture? You might be uncomfortable that we're going to ask you to curb your spending during this season. And you might feel like I'm asking you to break your culture. But if your culture is going into debt, using credit cards to celebrate the Son of God, you got to question that. You got to break the familiar, friend. And so a fast is an opportunity for us to examine how we've been behaving. 21 days to financial freedom. We need to be set free from the bondage spending holding on our lives. That's today's main point. I hated the fast. That's the first 4 words of her book. Michelle, I don't know if that was how to sell the most books, but she was honest. I hated the fast. Those are the first 4 words. You know what, guys? I want to tell you something that you should anticipate. You should anticipate that you might feel like throwing an adult temper tantrum. Okay? It's okay. We're doing this together. If you're already offended at the idea of not using credit cards in this season, of using cash only, of having everything budgeted out, of only purchasing essentials, if you're offended, good. Because a good coach agitates the spaces that have gone and been living in disobedience. That's what a good coach does. So Just know you're going to hate this probably. It's okay. It's all good. We're growing. You may not hate it. You might learn a whole lot. And maybe that's what you've been craving anyway. Wherever you are, we need to have some trust in the next 21 days. Okay. We're going to make a commitment together. And before the end of this call, we're going to take our pledge for day one, right? Make a commitment. Are you going to be perfect? Probably not. We hardly are. But your job is to be honest. Put it in the journal. If at the end of the 21 days you realize I couldn't go 21 days without fast food, then maybe that's a place where you can grow, right? Maybe that's a place where you can say, I don't want to live like this forever. Maybe there's ways I can consume at home in a different way. Maybe there's even for those of us guys that I know, trust me, I've got a bunch of kids and I told them I retired from cooking. Y'all don't eat it anyway. Y'all complain. Y'all waste food. I'm done. Find somebody else, right? But is there a way I can look at my fast food budget, my food out of the house budget and go, wow, 500 a month? We're a big family. 300 a month. I bet you I could participate in a meal plan service, support a small business, and save half that money and even eat healthier. So there's going to be ways for you to examine what you're doing and make some adjustments. Journal everything. Today, you're going to journal, okay? You're going to journal what it feels like, how you feel, what feelings are happening right now. Listen, I know some of y'all going to be disobedient. I know my friends, okay? I know y'all. Y'all ain't slick. But this is between you and God. No one's here to hold your feet to the fire. If you want true change, guys, you got to treat money like food. To me, that's something that I've learned, right? Since this last couple months, actually, guys, since we read the book called Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself, I went from 198 pounds to 179 pounds. And it was because I realized that my familiar place was food. Kids stressing me out, hide in the pantry and shove a handful of goldfish in your mouth, right? Can't go to sleep, what's a little bit of peanut butter on a spoon, right? Things like that, that added extra calories into my life. And really, what I learned was in those moments, instead of running to the pantry, I could be running to my prayer closet. I could be running to my spouse and talking to him about how I'm feeling. I could be running to my friends and having a conversation. I could be running to wise counsel and talking about what's frustrating me in that moment. So just like food, we use money this way. Did you know, this is so me, I'm guilty of this. I read this and I was like, what? Oh snap, that's me. Did you know you will make a purchase every 72 hours? They have us on a loop, guys. They have us on a loop. They know they have us on a loop. Okay? They're in our faces all day now. Literally, guys, they're in your babies' faces all day. Your children, they want your kids to be consumers. They want your children to spend your wealth. They want to train them up while they're young. This makes me think about my children's have fire tablets, and part of the fire tablet is every time the screen locks, there's an ad on it. To my children, to my 6-year-old, he doesn't think he's seeing it. He's seeing it. We don't have cable. How do my kids know jingles to grocery stores and to toys? We don't own cable. How do they know? Guys, they got us on a loop. Every 72 hours, we have to make a purchase. There's a chemical reaction that happens when we do it. It's a release. See, some of us, can I just keep it real with y'all? I went to Target yesterday, okay? And I think I did it because I knew this was coming. I think I did that. I think that's what happened. But I went to Target because my son needed a sponge brush for his hair. His little brother chopped up the last one. I'm convinced it's just not in the house anymore. So we went for hair conditioner and a sponge brush. And I'm walking through Target and I'm like, ooh, look at that makeup bag. Oh. Now, Sakina told me I better not put no Dalmatian print in my house. So I put it in my makeup bag. And it was on sale. And it was like, as soon as I saw it, I was like, it's perfect. It's big. I can stick it under my arm. I mean, like, look at how cute this is. Okay. But then I think about how much have I given this holiday season to other families? That's my conviction. What would that $20 be to a single mom in my community who doesn't know how she's going to have a meal tonight? Now, I'm not trying to guilt you. This is my conversation with me. And so it was so easy for me to go, in the bag, mine. I've been looking for a new makeup bag anyway. If I need one I can travel with, this is perfect. It's on sale. I love it. And I recognized my trigger when we left, because I had a $20 bill and I was going to just use that cash, buy the hair sponge. And when I left, I couldn't use that $20 bill because it wasn't enough. I had to swipe my debit card. I just think about my pattern of what's familiar. I didn't even think about it. I didn't consider, is this part of my budget? Is there anything else I really want to do or accomplish this month? I didn't think about it. It just happened. Just like when you're on a diet and somehow you open your eyes and you're in a drive-through line. How did I get here? What? I don't even know what happened. That familiar space has to be broken. It has to be challenged. So we're going to make a commitment. So here's what it looks like. Think about the last time you truly thought about how you spend. You re-examined all your spending habits. Here's an example. She talks about a married couple who had a problem staying inside of their grocery budget. We are doing a grocery budget this month, you guys. And I'm like, a grocery budget? I mean, groceries are groceries. Like, we don't need to budget that, right? My family makes good money. We don't need to budget that. But they talk about when you re-examine your spending habits, you might find points of pain that you didn't even know you had. Follow along with me as I read this part. Terry said that her husband constantly exceeded their food budget. Larry realized that he would just walk into the grocery store with no list. I'm going to go grab something. I'll be back home. 50, 60 bucks, right? And he thought, well, I don't look at food as an expense. Food is a necessity, so I need it. See how we negotiate with the truth, guys? Because the truth is you need it. Yes, you have to eat, but is there a way for you to be disciplined in those decisions? Absolutely. But we fool ourselves. We fool ourselves into saying, it's food. It's Walmart. It's Sprouts. I just came for bread. $200 later. What happened? You guys, you know the richest woman in our country? It's not Oprah. Her last name is Walton. She lives about 20 minutes away from me. Walmart, okay? I get it, guys. I get it. But you got to decide. Are you going to keep giving Walmart your wealth? Laura Walton, by the way, y'all, she lives in a really nice neighborhood, okay? She lives in what we like to call the old money part of Dallas. Oh, it's beautiful. Right off Mockingbird Drive. Oh, those houses are amazing. I'm nosy. I like looking at houses. I promise you, Laura Walton does not need any more of your money. So how are we going to rein in those parts that are negotiable? It's food. I need this. Cool. So here's what happens. When you really start to submit to that higher thinking and be honest, you can have a breakthrough just like Terry's husband did. He started to ask himself why he felt entitled to buy whatever he wanted when he went grocery shopping. Here's what he realized. As a child, he couldn't have certain foods. Everything was always too expensive or just enough just to taste it. And so as a child, because of that deprivation of food, you know, things like that we say, like, you better finish all your plate. You better not waste anything. We create scarcity around food as a child. And it's all in, we intend to teach our children just not to be wasteful. We intend to show them that there's value here, don't waste it. But what happens is we subconsciously insert a scarcity mindset around food. And then when you become an adult and you're walking in that grocery store, you say things like, I'm gonna buy the soda. I didn't get to have that as a kid. I'm gonna buy that cereal, the real brand, Fruity Pebbles, not Fruity Stones, because I deserve this, because I was deprived for so long. Now that I'm an adult, I'm getting it. You're trying to use an external source to alleviate an internal pain. It'll never work. You'll be the only thing that gets trapped. So you need to address that. A lot of us can relate to that. A lot of us come from a very similar background where single moms, right? My husband gave me an amazing, just incredibly sad statistic about single family homes today. And if you were raised where there wasn't enough, you probably know what it's like to have to wait to eat at school or to have rice and beans again for dinner. And so when you become an adult, going through that drive-through line, it's not just you doing it because you need something quick. It's also you doing it because you're entitled to that, because it feels good to be able to say yes to me. I deserve it. That's entitlement. And entitlement is something we have to address, because that entitlement is going to trick you out of your wealth very slowly, but it'll trick you out of your wealth. So being able to be honest and ask yourself and look at a piece of paper and journal and be honest about what you're spending. Did I really need to buy this? Right? I'm gonna tell you something you've probably been hearing your whole life, and I'm gonna repeat it. You got food at home, okay? You got food at home. In fact, guys, I'm grocery shopping today. I'm going in my pantry and I'm making my grocery list around what's already in my pantry, okay? My pantry is the size of many people's bedrooms. I need to address that. I don't need to waste food. There's no reason for me to have 17 types of noodles and pasta in my pantry. It makes me feel good. Every time I walk in the pantry, I'm reminded that I'm no longer where I come from. I like how it's organized. I like how I have way too many spices. Nobody needs 4 types of turmeric, but I got it. It makes me feel good when I walk in there, because it reminds me I'm not that poor little girl anymore. But it's still me using an external source to cure an internal pain. Whose job is it to cure that internal pain? Not my pantry, not my money, my God. It's his job. And I've not been letting him do his job because I've been trying to do it my own way. I want you to be transparent with yourself over the next 21 days so that you can have breakthroughs and you can break the yoke. What is a yoke? Y-O-K-E. We hear people talk about being evenly yoked, the yoke of bondage. So back in the day, you remember the image of, maybe somebody will remember the Oregon Trail. Remember that game, the Oregon Trail? And you would have to travel in a little video game across the country and pretend you were traveling in the Americas during the 1800s, right? Well, ox were used to carry and pull wooden carts. And they would use 2, especially when there was a lot, right? And the ox would have a yoke around their neck, a piece of wood that goes around the ox. Well, imagine you have 2 ox and one may be shorter than the other, or wider than the other. But for whatever reason, that wood that goes around their neck, if you don't have 2 ox that are even and equal, it'll be off. You guys with me visually? So imagine being the ox that's inside that yoke and it's just twisting, like, hey, back up a little bit over there. You're hurting me. The image you should get is pain, difficulty, more difficulty than necessary, grabbing you by the neck. See, when the Bible talks about the neck, there's a theme. We know that one of the curses that Eve had was not just labor pain, but there's one more we don't talk about a lot. it says that she will forever need and feel like she has to grab for the neck of the man. I envision somebody drowning. They're not trying to hurt you. They're just trying to survive. And as a woman, many times it does feel like we got to be like, hey, up there, men, don't forget, we're human too. But in the wrong spirit, we're reaching for the neck. We're reaching for the neck. And it gives me a visual of being desperate, of being tired, of just trying to survive. That's what it feels like to be unevenly yoked. If you feel like that with your finances, if you're drowning, if you're tired, if you're being pulled by the neck, you need freedom. You need to get out of that yoke because it's no longer a tool to help you carry the burden that God's placed in your life. It's now punishment. It's now killing you. Detach all things that cause you to sin, even if you have to cut them off. Guys, this is going to be a serious 21 days, but I believe that if we allow ourselves to get transparent, to ask questions that we've never asked, to really think about our spending, examine our habits, examine our familiar place, that we can have some breakthrough. So, what are the rules? Okay. Listen, nobody's going to micromanage you. Okay. And you're just going to have to be honest. That's what happens when you have journeys. But in the next 21 days, think about what's necessary. We're even challenging you to use cash. Studies have proven that when you use plastic of any kind, credit cards or debit cards, you are likely to spend 40% more. I think it's true. How many times do we swipe and we do like just real quick math? Okay, what in the account? Like, let me round. Round it up. Round. Okay. Here's why that's a problem. Only 8% of banking institutions, only 8, reported that they will let you know prior to a transaction that the funds aren't in there. So guys, you might have a savings account with plenty of money, right? That's Randy and I. We don't keep all our money in our checking account. No, very little of it is in there. We keep a lot of money in our savings. But the problem is that, click, click, swipe, and the savings money goes to the checking money really fast. Can you believe that even us, when we have more than enough, God's been really good to us, we have more than enough, don't get it twisted, we've had seasons with nothing, okay? But we have more than enough. Even us, we notice that our bank will delay transactions that have obviously gone through. I've argued with them. And delayed those transactions for a couple days and then have them all happen at once. And I go, bank, now you see my savings account. You know I have more than enough. How simple would it be just to say, hey, real quick, transfer this over? Because at the time that I made the purchase, the money was there. Oh, well, what happened was all the purchases for the last 24 hours happened at midnight. Why would you do that? How does that service me? Guys, they will get anyone, okay? So I share that in a transparent way to let you know it's not just you. It's not just you don't have enough money. That's part of it. It's also the way our banking systems are created. They are predatory. Okay, anybody on here like hobbies? Like I have friends that their hobby is they like to listen to crime mysteries and they listen to, murder mysteries. Okay, if you need a hobby, go look up the European banking system, how it was created, where it comes from, who started it. Oh, that's a rabbit hole. Just know they know more than you, even about your money. They know your spending, they know your cycles, they know you're on a loop, and 90% of consumer to bank transactions are overdraft fees. What? 90% of transactions between people in a bank is the bank saying, hand over that $35, player, caught you with your pants down. That's how they make their money. Okay? So you got to be smarter and you've got to be more accountable. I want you to use cash. I don't like it. I don't like using cash. I don't like the way money feels. I don't like dirty money. I don't like change. I don't want to sit nowhere and you counting pennies out. I don't got time for that. Swipe. I don't like it, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Why? because I need to examine my personal relationship with my debit card. How can you examine your relationship with your debit card if already you're not going to be coachable, right? So we're going to challenge you to not use plastic, to use cash. If you're going to the store, use cash as much as possible. Examine it and then journal it. Again, remember 40% of us, 40% more in our purchases when we use plastic. All right. So what can we buy? All right, guys, food. Can we keep it? Can I take it a step further, y'all? When you're buying food, can you examine your purchases? Right? Do you need Oreos? Do we need Oreos? Do we need soda? I mean, some of us are going to really win in this 21 days because we're not just going to examine our money habits. We're going to examine food, because food is the excuse. Always. It's food. You can't question me about buying food. That would be mean. That would be inhumane. All right, y'all, can we keep it real? In a country where 60% of us are going to go into our 40s with diabetes, who's really winning? Who's really winning? Did you know that Philip Morris, the cigarette company, is also Kraft? Same company. Did you know that Kraft makes over 80% of all canned and boxed items in your grocery store? So do you think a cigarette company is thinking, let me make sure this doesn't have too much sugar because Janita's watching her sugars this season? No, they don't care. So I want to even take it a step further and say, don't you dare let food be your drug during this season. During these next 21 days when you can't spend, don't you dare let food get a stronger yoke over you because you need to spend. Okay, I want you to examine your habits. So when it comes to food, buy what you need. You don't need potato chips. Okay, you don't need these things. Buy what you need. Be proud of what you're putting in that cart. So food, medication, hygiene products. All right, ladies, let's talk hygiene products, because we know we the slickest with it, right? It's a hygiene product. Girl, that's an eyeshadow palette, not a hygiene product. It's a hygiene product. You do not need a $300 12-step facial washing system, ma'am. That's not a hygiene product. Okay, so we gotta be honest with ourselves during this season. We good? Okay, guys, because somebody taking the eyeshadow palette out of their cart right now. I could see it, I could hear it. All right, hygiene products, cleaning products for your home. This is the one where I have to be truthful because I actually love buying cleaning products, guys. Like, I love buying cleaning products. I love buying OxyClean. I love buying Tide. I want 2-3 types of bleaches. I love Odoban. I love Resolve. I love 409, the lemon and the original flavor. I love Mr. Clean Foam. I love it all. I love cleaning products. Okay. So in this season, I'm going to take it down. I'm going to take it back old school. Pine Sol works wonders. If it was good enough for my mama, it was good enough for me. Pine Sol and Ajax, y'all. All right. And remember to let the Ajax sit in the tub so it can season it really good. All right. So cleaning products and that's it. Don't go to the mall. Don't window shop. Turn off those Amazon alerts. Okay. Because it's temptation. All right. Don't put yourself in the foot of temptation. Don't browse. What if someone says they're going to buy you lunch? Ask yourself if the spirit of this fast approves of that. Here's what I would rather do, and here's what she challenges us to do. Not only can you impact your life, I want you to imagine someone says, I want to take you to lunch, and you say, you know what? I'm actually on a 21-day financial fast right now. And as my friend, I need your help to do the right thing. Now, what we can do is make coffee, meet at a park. I'll bring the coffee, you bring the cucumber sandwich, right? I want you to be bold with this declaration. It's not something you should hide. Just like if you were on a fast about food, you would tell your friends, girl, I'm fasting right now. We can't go to Applebee's again. We can't go to Cheddar's. I love their mashed potatoes, by the way. We can't go there. We're gonna, let's meet up in the park and have a conversation. So I want you to let people know that you're on a financial fast. When you've removed yourself from constantly consuming, you can start to see more clearly how God is at work in your life and in your finances. So, 5 fasting tips. 1, get a journal. Okay. Get one you already got in the house. You know you got some journal, half used. Okay. Can I tell y'all a confession? I love buying journals, y'all. Like I will go to the bookstore, and if there's nothing I want, I'm like, let me go look at the journal section. I just love a new, shout out Nicole and Sixto. I got this one from them. This was a gift. And I just love the feeling of opening it up and clean white pages. And then, you know, you use the first 6, you stick it in a pile with the other journals, and then repeat. I don't know why I'm like this. Okay, I'm confessing it. I'm confessing. And I like journals. So go use a journal you already have somewhere sitting in the house. Okay, you only need 21 pages, really 11 front and back. Okay, let's break our addiction to being consumers. If you ever really want to know what your consumerism really is doing, look outside of your country. Okay, if you want to get deep down the rabbit hole, look at what your cheap products that you're so privileged to buy, look at what they do to other countries. Okay, the truth is we are able to buy things very cheap in our country. And because of our education through our platform, we know wealth doesn't go away, it only transfers. So because you and I could buy a cute pair of Fashion Nova jeans for $15 right now, that's because somebody on the other side of the world was exploited and was used in their pain and was paid $1 that entire day so that your butt could look good. We play a role in this world. We do. And we don't like to look at it. We don't like to think about it because then it disrupts our privilege. I talk to my children about this all the time. You live in a house with running water, with electricity. You have food in the fridge that stays plugged in. Your electricity stays on. It ain't going in and out throughout the day. You have internet at the, like this. You are privileged. And to whom much is giving, much is expected. Turn those dang lights out. Pick one television. You got an hour. Eat one. You're privileged. And when you are privileged, it is your responsibility to do your work to make sure that you don't put pain in other people's life because of your privilege. We're privileged. My home is privileged. That's why I'm obsessed with recycling. My family thinks I'm nuts because I think about how privileged I am to put that much plastic in the world, to use that much. I think about how privileged I am every time I scrape food into the trash. I hate it because I remember being the hungry little girl. There was no food. And so I want you to check your privilege in this season. Okay, if you live in my country, you guys, we get to have a lot, have beautiful places, everything's so pretty, everything's new. And a lot of it is connected to the fact that we get to have things because other people don't. And so let's break our addiction of being consumers. When we really think on a global platform and a global level, we've got to curve, we've got to our spending addiction, the habits that we have. Get a journal, review your progress, get a highlighter, highlight this book up, right? Get an accountability partner. Find someone. Text them, say, hey, you're my accountability partner. I want y'all to look at the names that are on this call right now. Just look, pick someone. You're mine, I got it. And be honest. Hey, Patel, I'm struggling right now. I didn't pack my lunch. I'm at work. I really want to go to the vending machine. I really want to go get a quick burger. I'm going to go see what's free in the lunchroom, what cold pizza's out, right? Understand if you fail to prepare, don't throw a tantrum and break your rules because you failed to prepare. Prepare so that you don't have to have an adult temper tantrum at 11 a.m. at work, okay? And then the last one, P-A-Y, every day. P stands for pray. Pray before you read each chapter. I want you guys to pray before you come on these calls. This is a little different. We usually do Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're actually going to be doing 21 days straight. I want you to pray. I want to talk to those of you who've never prayed. Okay? Guys, it's a conversation. Your God knows you. He loves you. He knows all the things about you that you're not proud of, and still he chooses you daily. And just like a parent craves for their adult child to pick that phone up and call him, your God craves for you to address him. And so if you've never prayed, it can be this simple. God, open my mind, my heart, and reveal to me how to better handle my finances. Congratulations, you just prayed. That's it. Okay, it's simple. Very simple. Remember what we learned this past season about closing our eyes? How it turns off the frontal lobe and it literally immediately shuts off 100,000 thoughts because the brain is no longer looking at the external. Close your eyes when you pray. I never knew why we did that. I did it so my mama didn't slap my hands, but now I know why we do it, okay? So P is for pray. A is for act. Act on the pledge that we're gonna say daily. We're gonna say our day one pledge in a second. And why? Yield, yield, yield. Yield to God's will, not your own. People find themselves in financial trouble because they acted on their own accord instead of waiting on God. You may need to meditate on the scripture for the first day. Psalms 25:9. He guides the humble in what is right, and he teaches them his ways. Psalms 25:9. Yielding is important. You won't make it through this fast if you don't teach yourself how to stop, yield, and surrender. You're gonna have to do that when you're hungry on the way home and the kids are in the car and they're crying and they're hungry and I still have to run an errand and I don't have any food. Yield. You know what? Y'all gonna survive another hour without having to put something in your mouth. You'll be all right. Yield and think and surrender. Because in those moments, guys, you're gonna fall back into your familiar. And our job is to break the familiar. That's it. That's the only goal for the next 21 days is to have multiple moments where we go, whoa, okay, so I can't do this right now. I pledge for the next 21 days to deny myself this way. I'm not going through the drive-thrus. I'm not doing the gifts exchange. I bet you have something in your house that you could gift. If you've been a part of my money team all year, you have books that you can gift that are a blessing, that are probably perfectly highlighted with beautiful notes. Gift that to someone. You probably have candles unused somewhere. Gift it. I love getting candles. I want less clutter in my life. And then just believe that you're going to make this 21 days and that God has your back and that great things are going to come out of this. So, are we ready for the challenge? To untie the yoke that's been keeping us financially oppressed. If you're ready for the challenge, guys, we're going to take our pledge. Day one, all right? Feel free to invite anyone throughout the next 21 days. I want to be a vessel. I want change in my life. I want to help you guys with change. I want to be transparent. Randy's partnering with me, so it won't just be me on these calls. We're going to go back and forth every other day. So today I got day one, he's got day two, and we're going back and forth. And trust me, it's hard in this house right now, okay? Trust me, okay? Was it like 2 days ago? I was like, ooh, I finally am off my self-isolation. Let me go to my favorite little halal spot and get my favorite little chickpea bowl. And he was like, you can do what you want, but just know in 2 days, you're not gonna be able to do this. And I was like, I don't know, who is he talking to? Not me. And then once my attitude goes away and I'm in the car thinking, I'm like, oh man, I know he's right. So guys, expect some adult temper tantrums. They're gonna happen. You know what that is? That's anger. And what did we learn about anger this season? Anger is how we express when we don't get something we want. Self-pity is anger turned inwards. So when those moments happen, don't try to ignore it. Sit there, yield. Say, what am I feeling? I feel angry, frustrated, self-pity. I want to cry. I want to scream. What is it that I want that I'm not getting? Why do I want that? Where is this coming from? Guys, and I want you to know that even if you've never had a prayer life, okay, my personal testimony is that when I had no idea how to pray, when I didn't even know if God was a real thing, there were some times I would say, all right, God, what do I do? Even in my foolishness and my childish ways, many times the Holy Spirit met me right where I was. And there was a voice of reason, not mine, but a voice of reason that would say, you know what? This ain't even a big deal. It's all good. Keep it moving. And I believe that that can happen for you too. So here's our pledge. You guys ready? All right. I'm pledging with my right hand. For the next 21 days, I will be on a spending diet. I will not shop for anything except necessities. I will not use my credit card. I will limit or completely eliminate the use of my debit card. I will use cash for purchases I make during the fast. In this way, I will strive to break the chains that keep me from achieving my financial freedom. Guys, congratulations. Welcome to the 21-day fast. Let's do this together. Let's get creative. Let's learn how to break all of our familiar spaces so that we can go into 2021 with more wisdom, with the ability to deny ourselves in the way that we're ruining our financial plan, and with clarity. And more importantly, with God. I said it. More importantly, going into 2021, knowing that we're not alone in our finances. In Peter, we're told that if it matters to us, it matters to him. And I promise you that if finances are a pain, if you ever cried, if you've ever screamed, if you've ever gotten in an argument over money, I promise you that God wants to meet you in those spaces, and he wants to figure out what's going on with you so that you can be free, guys. You're no longer that little child who's been denied. You're no longer that helpless little boy that has been told no over and over again. You are a king. You are a queen. You are a leader. People want to follow you. You have wisdom. You have more than enough. You attract wealth and riches in all ways, through health, through relationships, through mindset, through your network, through how you service your community. You are more than what you can buy someone. You are more than what they can buy you. There is so much more value inside of you. And when we say wealth, money is the lowest form of wealth. When we say wealth, we want peace. That's what wealth is. So guys, thank you so much. Day one, financial fast. It started right now. I'm excited. Let's be transparent. Let's share. Guys, I'll see you tomorrow, same time. Randy Webb will be hosting day 2 of our financial fast. Your last purchase should be this book. Okay, go support this beautiful, amazing, educated, bomb Black woman who wrote a powerful book. Go support her. Buy one for a Christmas gift for somebody. Okay, that's the Christmas gift they're gonna get, this. So guys, I appreciate you. I love you. Let's go win.